Hey guys, I hope everybody's having a fantastic day. Whether y'all are watching this in the morning, in the afternoon, or in the evening, I'm just glad you're here. I want to take a quick second and say thank you to the channel members, and thank you to anybody who's come in to check out the knife, the EDC content. I really appreciate it. Today, I'm going to talk about the top 5 knives that have been going with me in my pocket this June, which is June 2024. And if you know me, I can't count. So this actually, if we count this knife, which I've been carrying a lot the last few days, and I found it just a great little knife. We're going to count 6. But this is the Hella, or Suprlativ Hella. It's a small, when I say small, it's a little guy. So if I took the bug out, you know, it's nearly almost half the size of the bug out, but it is all this forward choil, so I can get a full 4-finger grip on this. It does have a lanyard loop, which would give you another little tail if you wanted to put a tail on it. You can take the scales off if you want to skeletonize it and make it even lighter, but it has these fat carbon fiber scales. It is M390, and it's just a great little full tang pocket dropper EDC slicer. It is great for opening packages. It's great for cutting away tape. It's great for really anything you're going to use it for. I wouldn't break down a ton of cardboard with it, but I've definitely cut into a lot of cardboard with it. Still should be very sharp. It's got a great blade shape, really good blade geometry. I'm a huge fan of this little knife. I didn't carry it as much at first. I was kind of overwhelmed with a lot of my fixies. But then I've kind of settled into different carrying styles, and you'll see that I've been carrying different knives. But this one, the little Suprlativ Hella, is a great little knife. I love the little pocket sheath because it's a vertical carrier. I carry it in my back pocket. This is what I would consider enhancement knife, not one that I carry by itself. But moving on, we come to a fantastic knife. I've been carrying appendix style right to the right of my belt buckle. This is my MKM Macro 2. So the Macro 2 is a little bit different than the Macro 1, that it's a sheep's foot, kind of reverse tanto style shaped blade, as opposed to the drop point has the same micarta handles that can be taken off if you want to skeletonize this. It is in M390. It comes with a leather sheath, but I actually prefer the carry kit that they sell for it. You can carry this vertically with an ulti-clip. I've temporarily right now got it carrying on the leather straps. It is balanced perfectly. It's a Jesper Voxnez design. I don't know if you can see that, but it's just balanced on my finger. You've got this nice jimping for the heel of your hand, jimping for your finger. It's got a nice lanyard loop if you wanted to put a lanyard on there to even give you more handhold. But again, I can get a full 4 on the Macro, and I would think even if you had more sausagey fingers than I have, you could still get a full 4 on the Macro. If you needed a little bit more to hang on to, I'm not a big lanyard guy, but short tails are very effective on the knives that I've been able to try out with them. But I like both of these knives. They don't have great sharpening choils, which is no big deal because I could easily cut one in or just deal with it like I have been. But the build of the knife, the ergonomics of the knife are special. Anything I think that suggests for Voxnez design feels great in the hand. They're minimalistic. A great EDC knife. I really enjoy it. And that is the MKM Macro 2, or Macro 2. Moving on, we come to a knife that I've found in my pocket more, and this is usually in my right pocket as a primary on weekends more than not. This is my T.Kell Combatant. It is a little bit thinner than my Raider, about the same size, but it is what I would consider, or same length. I would consider this a heavier knife. Like when I just hold this in my 3 fingers, it really feels where those others felt kind of like EDC, you know, smaller items, even though the Raider is not going to be, it's going to actually be about the same size as the Bug Out. It's considerably more knife, right? So you just got a really thick, let's see what our spine starts out. I know this is one of our thicker ones. 0.1675 stock, and then you've got that nice swedge that goes to the front of a very, very piercy, pokey tip. Very slicey, even though it's a thicker grind. Sharpens up great. Very pokey. And again, what I would consider more of a tactical stance, but for a hiking knife, for a primary EDC knife, urban EDC knife, Slurpee saver, package opener, cut back brush, cut back vines, whatever you really need to do, feather stick, this little guy is a beast. This one's in Nitro V. You can get these in other blade steels. This one just happens to be Nitro V. I really like it. One of my favorite, I like the Piranha, my tiny one, but this T.Kell Combatant is an absolute winner. The sheath works great. I just got a simple retention clip there, a no brand, off brand clip that came with something just because it works, and this is usually in my back pocket. I could use it as a pocket dropper that just keeps it in place. You've got this jimping on the sheath that gives you just a great way to pop it out, so I'm not worried about the retention of this clip, even though it works well, as much on any of my T.Kells because they've got that thumb pop. But that is the T.Kell Combatant coming in, number 3, strong, great knife, which brings us to a knife that I really rediscovered and really like, and this is my Jesper Voxnäs Viper Knives Lille, L-I-L-L-E 1. I have the Lille 1, which is the drop point, and I have the Lille 2, which is the sheep's foot. This knife is in fat carbon fiber and L-Max. It has a couple of different grip positions, which you can kind of see here by where the jimping is on the blade. So if I want to grab it back here where I typically don't, that's more of a pokey, stabby type grip, right? This knife has got a lot of belly, so it's very slicey, but it's also very pushy. You've got that finger grip there, kind of a finger shield, if you will, and you've got the jimping, but then you've also got this jimping in this front choil, and you've got this front jimping here. So you can grab it in several different positions depending on the type of cuts that you're making with the knife. I like the forward grip, regardless of where I've got my back finger. I just like to use the choil because, again, you've got jimping in that choil, so you're not having any chance, in my opinion, of intersecting with that blade. And I love that exaggerated drop point. A lot of people probably won't, but it's kind of my jam. I like different knives. The sheep's foot's also very, very functional, but I tend to find myself leaning towards the drop point a little bit more just because it's so intense looking and it cuts so well. Whether I'm getting into packages, regardless of what I'm cutting, it cuts well. Tall flat grind, L-Max steel, perfectly balanced. You've got a crown spine. It just feels great in the hand. Comes with a Kydex sheath and a branded Ulti-Clip, so it's ready to carry from the manufacturer, and you don't have to get it in carbon fiber. These are available. I think White Mountain Knives still has some. You can check, and if they do, use your Vine 10, but you can get them with G10, you can get them with carbon fiber, you can get them with lesser materials, and you still get the L-Max package in either the Lille 1, which is the drop point, or the Lille 2, which is more of a sheep's footy. So, as we move along, we come to one of my favorites. It finds its way into my pocket month after month. And this is the first Boker AK1 that I picked up, the original AK1, which is I guess the more premium AK1. This one is an RWL 34. It also has, when you remove these scales, you can change out this lanyard back here. So right now it doesn't look like there's a lanyard tube, but you can see that break in the metal there. If I take off the scales, you can simply flip. I won't flip it, but I can show you what I mean. I think it's a T15. What is it? T10. Let's see. T10. So when you take these scales off, I've got another Boker AK1 American Tanto that was less than $200 in N690 that I love. It cuts just as well as this, but this is kind of the upgraded model. And besides the RWL34, you get some upgrades like this little piece. The other, my American Tanto, you don't have this feature. The American Tanto is set up like that, solid. So you've got a lanyard, which there's no problem with that. It's not going to be a lanyard that gets in the way, but it is a lanyard hole or lanyard tube nonetheless. The way my hand's shaped, no, I won't use a lanyard on this knife, not while I'm using it here in the city. So you can sit it in here, it fits perfectly, almost like a puzzle piece. Throw your scale back on. Might as well. Throw that scale back on, and then you've tucked your lanyard hole or your lanyard tube or your lanyard slot, whatever you want to call it, since it's kind of a smaller piece, into your handles, and you are good to go. This is made in Solingen, Germany, as is my American Tanto that was less than 200. This one's less than 4, but I think it's over 3. I got it Black Friday last year, and I got it for under 3. It was on a really good deal at DLT Trading, but I think there's usually about 320, 330. Daily Carry and Boker collaborated on this knife. It is wonderful shred carbon fiber, RWL34. It is a perfect EDC knife, whether you want to make it a primary or a enhancement to your carry, because it is small. It is a pocket dropper. Very, very slicey. For me, I would consider it kind of a primary carry, unless I was doing more hard use, but I carry it a lot of times in my back pocket. It's got the leather sheath with the ulti-clip. Works very, very well. Nice package. I'm stoked to carry it, and I carry it quite a bit. It comes in, when we're talking about size, it's going to be even smaller than my bug out, but my blade's going to be about the same length. So, fits the hand great, fits my hand great. If your hand's a lot bigger, you'd probably want to flip that lanyard tubey thing around and put a small lanyard on just to give you additional gripping area. But that has been in my pocket, and lately I've been able to carry this knife and I can't get it out of my pocket. I've carried it both with ulti clips, I've carried it with the belt straps. I'm getting ready to send it back to Austin with a couple of other things, or another thing that he'd sent me. And this is the Viper Knives Handy. I showed you the Viper Knives Lille 1. I've got both the Lille 1 and the Lille 2. This is a little bit larger. This knife has shown up not only at White Mountain Knives, but at other retailers as well. It is not a Voxnez design. It is a Felipe, I can't think of the name now, but it's on Viper's website. He's a designer, I want to say maybe Spanish or Italian. This is a made in Italy knife, so maybe he's an Italian designer. But guys, this design is magnificent. The things that I notice about it is, and it's available in stonewashed or in black, in micarta or in G10 or in Ultim. You've got these contoured scales, and they are contoured so well in so many different areas, with this jimping right up front and the jimping right here on your thumb. It fits my hand absolutely perfect. It is a small sized knife, small to medium sized knife, that I would say would definitely be considered a primary carry. You could always have it as an enhancement depending on what you were doing. But no matter what you would need to do, this blade is Magna Cut. I think it's heat treated between 62 and 64. It does have some billboarding where you've got Viper and Handy, which is the name of the knife. You've got a nice lanyard hole here on the back side of the knife. You've got a full-size crown spine. When I say full-size, it's going to be bigger. .1610. So it's close to our T.Kell, maybe not quite as thick. And it's got a thinner grind, comes thinner behind the edge, a much more acute splinter digger type point. If we look at it next to our bug out, we'll see that it's right around the same size as the bug out. Maybe a little bit, about the same size blade. But to me, where it shines is in the care and the thought that was put in to not just the contouring, but the shape, that trailing, having this lump here with this trailing tail or this taper tail, and the jimping is so sharp yet comfortable. You've got this beautiful swedge. Guys, I love and highly recommend this knife. If you are into fixed blades and you like the look of the knife, it is definitely one that I have thoroughly enjoyed. They're right around $200 in Magna Cut. You can use Javon 10 at White Mountain Knives. You can save yourself 10%, or you can use another creator's code. But when I first got it, I could barely get it out of the sheath. The retention, it doesn't ship in the sheath. It ships in the sheaths on the side, so the sheath had to break in. Now it's in and out of the sheath with no problem. Right here on this plunge is where it locks in to the Kydex, which is really, really nicely done. Really tight. So you guys know I'm kind of nuts when it comes to fixed blade knives. I love fixed blade knives. I find myself kind of carrying them and using them just as much, if not more, than a lot of my folding knives on a use basis, which for me, again, is not processing game or chopping down trees or building fires outside, but I like to know that I can if I need to, and I'm capable. So these are just the 5, we'll call it 6, that have been on me a lot this June, either as backup carries like the Makro 2 or like the little Suprlativ Hella, or primary carries, which any of these, from the T.Kell Combatant to the Lille 2 to the Boker AK1 to this magnificent new Handy that I just absolutely love. Guys, great knives. Wanted to share them with y'all. Hope you found it somehow entertaining, informative, educational. All I ask is, please guys, if you've made it this long, hit that subscribe button. But more importantly, look out for the guy or gal to your left. Look out for the guy or gal to your right. Please look out for each other. Go forward with love in your hearts. Choose debate, not hate. I love you all. Peace.